I represent a group of students with ADHD, which is a disability. 7% of the student population have ADHD, and they are experiencing all of these exclusions, suspensions at alarming rates, and not accessing their education at the same rate as their peers, which is discrimination in education.
Yeah, it's a really tricky question, because I think everybody involved in education, teachers, administration, are really focused on trying to deliver the best education for all students, and particularly students with disabilities. It's not always easy. Some schools do it better than others. Looking at alternative ways to deal with some of the challenges with students with disabilities. I mean, suspension is never really a good solution for any student, because, as somebody said before, I mean, just excluding students from school doesn't actually serve their purpose. It gives the school, for whatever reason the suspension occurred, separation from the student.
I mean, it's heartbreaking to hear, Louise, and I know that's Cherry Technology High School, where I teach, it includes so many students with a wide variety of disabilities, and that's really challenging. As Adrian points out, a lot of the teachers who are trying their best still have a long way to go, but in many ways, you know, we're kind of in the situation of making bricks without straw a little bit. I think it's fantastic. We have so much more access now, even compared to, like, it was, you know, in the grand scheme of things, a very short amount of time ago, 12 years ago when I started teaching. We have so much better access to information and relevant details to individual students' learning, and yet, when we think about the 150 students that a regular high school teacher is going to teach, and many teach actually several more than that, it's an enormous challenge, and very little support is often given. At a school like Cherrybrook, we're really fortunate to have a great learning support team and student learning support officers who often come into our classes and provide us with that very focused, here's what this particular student can really benefit from. But I know that's a benefit that comes largely from scale, and so many schools out there, that particular student learning support officer or learning support teacher, they share with a lot of different schools. That's situation normal across New South Wales. So we have a long way to go in providing that additional support to teachers who want to absolutely do the very best for every student and just need the knowledge and the time to implement what actually helps.
Not happening in the broader school education community. 1 in 4 children with ADHD are suspended from school on average 4 times each. 40% of those are aged 4 to 7 years old. They're tiny children. They're treated like naughty children that no one wants. The teachers are not equipped, they're not trained, they're not provided with training. There is no training for teachers. They're not trained when they're at university. And so these students are starting school, and the message to them is, you're bad, you're naughty, you're out. And they're being suspended multiple times. They're going to these behaviour schools and they're being sent there. And it's not a solution, it's not working. There are countries where inclusive education does work and is happening, Canada, Italy. And those students there with autism, ADHD, these sort of neurological conditions where they have these behaviours, are able to access an inclusive education where they are wanted, adjusted for, and allowed to access their education without being shunned and pushed out.